start tonight in child's pose. You'll take if it is comfortable for you to take the big toes to touch and the knees wide, go ahead and do that. And then that gives you a little bit more space for the chest to drop down. If that's not okay on the back, feel free to have the knees touch. And then just let the forehead rest down to the mat. And just start by connecting in, feeling the tops of your feet and the tops of your shins connecting to the earth. Feeling the arms reaching long, maybe even activating the arms by lifting the elbows and the forearms up off of the earth and pressing into the heels of the hands as you feel the body lengthen backward through the hips. And with the forehead connected to the earth, take your attention right to the center of the forehead. And feel that little extra pressure from the earth upward into the forehead and from the weight of the head downward into the earth. Fully supported there. Right at the third eye, that intuitive space. And as you take your mind's eye there, imagine a white light. And with your inhale, you might watch that light expand and wrap around the body. And with the exhale, watch the light draw back into center, creating a little pinpoint of light. So you're inhaling that light from the center forehead, reaches around the body, expansive. Your exhale brings you to a single focal point right at center forehead. This helps bring our focus and awareness to our breath so that if storylines begin to pop up in our train of thought, we can remind ourselves to come right back to that white light. Slowly begin to walk your hands over to the upper right corner of your mat, taking the left hand on top of the right hand and pressing back through the left hip. And as you breathe in, feel that left rib cage expand. That stretch comes over the ribs, under the arms. Walk your hands back through center, taking them now over to your left with the right hand on top of the left hand and pushing back through that right hip. Walking your hands right back through center, we're going to come right up onto hands and knees, finding our tabletop pose. And in your tabletop pose, immediately come into cat back, rounding the spine, tucking your chin, and even tucking the tailbone as if it's reaching for the backs of the knees. Feel that nice deep rounding. We're going to rock backward, pushing hips toward heels. Come back to neutral on an inhale. Push back through the hips on an exhale. Just finding your own breath pace here. Taking two more, rocking back and rocking forward. And last time you'll rock back, stay back, keep the spine rounded, shift your hips to the right, and then shift your hips to the left. So we're just kind of taking it side to side. You'll feel that right over the low back and the waist, shifting right and shifting left. And slowly you'll come back to your neutral spine. Let's curl the toes under. Walk your hands back and sit right onto your heels. So you're finding toes pose now, which can get a little bit uncomfortable if I'm being honest. And the pinky, I don't know about you, but my pinky has separation anxiety and it really doesn't want to curl under with the rest, but I'm going to force the issue. We're going to take the hands to the thighs. If this gets to be too much on the feet, just drop to your shoelace side. On an inhale, roll the shoulders up to the ears. And on an exhale, drop the shoulders down the back. As you inhale, we'll rise up, keeping the toes curled under. And as you exhale, you'll drop down, center chest with hands. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, drop down. Last time, inhaling, rise up. As you exhale, staying here on your knees, you're going to drop the shoelace side of your right foot and take your left foot, I'm going to turn so you can see what's happening, inside the arch of the foot. So you take the top of your left foot inside the arch of the right foot. And then we're going to sit back and you're going to feel the bones of your left foot press to the arch of your right foot. It's really not super comfortable, but it shouldn't be painful. So if you feel pain, shift a bit. And then you're going to feel this kind of acupressure point right in the meaty part of the arch of your foot. Again, if it's too much, release, but we're here for just one more breath, breathing in and breathing out. Slowly lift up. You're going to switch the feet, taking right foot now into left foot. Gently sitting back. And it might take a minute for you to find the proper, so I have to adjust my foot, for you to find the proper position. Oh, there it is. And then you can just kind of let that weight rest down. If it's too much, lean your hands forward. That will take some of the pressure off. One more breath here. And slowly rise up, breathing in. Taking the hands down to the mat, once again, tabletop pose. This time you'll take your right foot back behind you, pushing actively through the heel. So you're going to feel this. We've opened up the foot. You're going to feel it across the back of the calf and perhaps even into the arch. One more breath here. Slowly release that right knee down. Take the left leg back. Toes stay connected to the earth. Press as if you want the entire sole to reach the earth. It's not going to, but you'll feel that calf stretch even deeper. And then slowly take that knee back. Let's just find a cat-cow to reset the body. Belly draws down as you lengthen the chest forward. Round your spine up. We're going to take the shoelace side of our foot down again and sit back to our heels. So this one is going to stretch the front of the foot and the ankle. Your hands are going to walk behind you, and you're going to think about the right knee lifting up off of the mat. You're going to feel the entire front of that foot and the toes stretch. Nice deep breath in. Full breath out. Release down. Take that left knee up. Again, entire front of foot. Deep breath in. Full breath out. And release. Coming back onto hands and knees. Again, stepping back, right toes. Taking this stretch a little bit deeper this time. Heel draws back. Curl your left toes under. You're going to hover the knee, which will allow you to push back deeper and feel the stretch come into the upper calf now, the gastroc. And slowly drop down. Release the right knee. Take the left leg back. Push actively back. Find that stretch in the Achilles and the lower part of your calf. Curl your right toes under. Lift up off of that knee as you bring more pressure backward to get into the upper calf. And slowly release down. Finding your tabletop pose once again, one cat-cow. Belly draws down, chest lengthens. And round out that spine. Coming back to your neutral spine, let's take your right leg back and up now. Extending out through left fingertips. Finding a spinal balance here. Nice deep breath in. All we're doing is finding spinal balance. So really press through your heel like you're standing on the wall behind you. Reach your fingertips forward and feel the belly activate. This strengthens the low belly to support the low back. From here, left hand will draw down, right knee to right shoulder. Come across and back behind you to the left. Right knee to right shoulder, across and back behind. Last time, knee will come to shoulder. Take it across and back behind and stay there. You're pressing into the ball of the foot. Forearms can drop to the floor if that's comfortable on your body. And you're going to feel the outer hip activate on that left side, the supporting side. Taking your hands underneath your shoulders once again. Take that knee under your hip and just take a cat-cow to reset. Back to neutral, left toes step back and the foot lifts to hip height. Extend out right fingertips if balance allows. And feel active through the heel and the fingertips in opposite directions. Belly pulling to spine. Gaze is forward and down. Letting the hand drop down, draw your left knee to your shoulder. Come across and back behind to the right. Left knee to shoulder, across and back behind. Good, knee comes to shoulder, and then you'll take it behind, drop back, stay there. You can keep the hands where they are, or the forearms can drop down. Now this time you'll feel your right hip activate. Slowly take your hands underneath your shoulders. Draw that knee under the hip. And this time take your knees and your shins wide and just press back to a wide child's pose and find a full breath cycle here. You should feel that into the hip creases. Let's lift up from this wide child's pose and walk your left knee underneath the hip. Take your right leg out like a dog at a fire hydrant. You're going to push back and draw up. Activating the glute. Push back and draw up to the shoulder. One more time, push back. Now you're going to draw up to the shoulder and step the right foot outside of your right pinky finger. Hands can stay to the earth. If you're finding that you're like really hunched over, maybe tent your fingertips or use blocks under the hands. Let's send the hips forward. So we have this wide, asymmetrical low lunge here. It's a really nice stretch in the hips. One more breath. And plant your palms down. Send that right knee back. Take it under your hip and send your left leg wide and out like a dog at a hydrant. You're going to push back and then pull the knee to the shoulder. Push back, knee to shoulder. Last time pushing back. As you bring the knee to the shoulder, you'll take that wide stance again, left foot to left pinky finger. Adjust your hands wherever they need to be to allow you to open the chest. And bring the hips forward and down. Allow your inhale to help you notice where you're feeling sensation in the body. And allow your exhale to release tension where you might be holding it. So sometimes when a stretch is intense, I hold that tension in my shoulders or my face. So let's soften those areas as we exhale. And then slowly, with the hands planted, take that left knee back underneath your hip. Begin to walk your hands back, standing now on your knees We'll take the right leg out, ankle, knee, and hip in one line. Inhale, the arms are going to reach high. As you exhale, the left hand will plant down either to blocks or the floor, and you're going to start to reach up and over, finding that nice deep stretch across the side of your waist and across your rib cage. So imagine you're making this little rainbow shape with the body. Now open the chest up just a little bit, feel it across the front of the belly, and then you're going to close and tap to your thumb. So inhale, open. Exhale, close and tap. Again, this is helping that low back. Last time, inhale up. Exhale, close and tap. And then rise up. Take the arm up so the arms are stacked like 6 o'clock on a clock face. And your right leg will reach. Good. Now from here, you're going to take the elbow and the knee to touch. Inhale to reach. Exhale, elbow and knee to touch. Really feel the hip crease here. Last time, elbow and knee to touch. Release and circle the hands forward with that foot still in the same place. So it's still out to the right. Hips shifting back and forward. Hips shifting back and forward. Now last time your hips will shift back. You're going to stay here. Forearms might drop to the earth, only if that's comfortable in the body. Feel the inner thigh open. Take your hands underneath your shoulders. Again, right foot will step wide outside of your pinky. This time the left hand will stay to the floor, the right hand will come to the knee. You're going to open up the chest here. So you're feeling a twist through your low back and your low belly. And then you'll peel to the pinky toe edge of that foot as you start to get deeper into the inner thigh. So the body has been prepared for this by that last motion that we took. Let the hand release down to the earth. Hi, Ellie. Take that right knee underneath your hip. Find a cat-cow. Just feel the spine release and reset. Walk your hands back, again standing on your knees. Let's take the left foot out, ankle, knee, and hip in one line. Reach the arms up on a breath in, and slowly take the right fingertips down as you make that little rainbow shape with your body, reaching those fingers as if they want to come to the floor on the right side of the mat. Now, inhale, let the chest open a bit. As you exhale, tap to your thumb. Inhale, open. Exhale, tap to the thumb. Last time, open. Good, tap to the thumb, hold it here for a full breath. And then you're gonna rise up, taking the arm again like 6 o'clock, like a clock face, lifting the leg up, pull the elbow and the knee toward one another, feeling that hip. Extend, pull in, and extend. Last time, you're going to pull in. As you extend, drop the foot, circle the upper body around. Shift your hips back and forward. Shift back and forward. Last time, shifting back, staying here or forearms down. Feeling the inner thigh open up. And then take your hands under your shoulders. We're going to send that left foot wide outside of your pinky finger. Right hand stays planted, left hand comes to the knee. Begin by wringing out and twisting. Peel to the pinky toe edge of your foot as the sole of the foot lifts. Feeling that inner thigh open up a little bit deeper. And then slowly release the hands. Taking your knees and your shins again wide, find your child's pose. So what we're doing is we're preparing for what I always call a peak pose, like that last pose that gets us to the most opening. And today that peak pose is going to be frog. So we're doing a lot of opening through the back and the hips and the inner thigh. Slowly we're going to rise up here. Walk your hands under your shoulders, your knees under your hips. Right leg will come back, bend the knee so the sole of the foot faces the ceiling. Push up through the glute and then pull under the body. Push back and up through the glute, pull the knee under the body. Last time, push back and up, and now again step wide. This time with your hands to the floor, your left toes will curl under. You're going to lift that knee up and push back through your heel. Imagine you could send your right knee forward and your left heel back. Feeling that stretch right through the inner thigh on the right side and the front of the thigh on the left side. And slowly drop the knee. Walk your hands over to the left, keeping your hips centered, and just allow the chest to sink down. So you might stay here with your arms straight. Perhaps the forearms drop down. You're going to feel this really deep into your hips here. And slowly walk your hands underneath your shoulders. Send that right foot back. Find a cat-cow. Reset the spine. And right back to neutral. Step back with your left foot, lifting it up to hip height. Bend the knee, sole of the foot toward the ceiling. Push up through the glute. Pull the knee under the body. Push up through the glute. Pull the knee under the body. Last time, pushing up through the glute. And you're going to stay there and then slide forward with that foot. Hands planting to something, whether it's blocks, books, floor. Curl your right toes, push back through the heel, lifting up off of that knee. And imagine pushing the left knee forward and the right heel back. Slowly release the knee to the earth. Walk your hands to the upper right corner of the mat. And again, you can stay with the arms extended, or you can drop down onto forearms. And if you have something to build the floor up to you, perhaps you're halfway, somewhere between straight arms and forearms to earth. Slowly, hands come underneath your shoulders. Once again, you'll send that left foot back. Start with a rounded spine. Push your hips, just like we did at the beginning. Push your hips back. Feel that across your low back. It should feel great. Shift your hips to the left. Come through center. Shift your hips to the right. And come back to your neutral spine. We are going to take the right foot forward, step it right through your fingers, and then you're going to rise up with the upper body and take the hands to that right knee. Just letting the shoulders drop down the back, feeling the stretch across the front of your left thigh. From here, let the hands come down. And you're going to walk your right, now this doesn't have to be fancy. You can just kind of come to a seat. We're going to walk the right foot to the left and prepare for pigeon, okay? So I'm going to take this sideways so I can give you plenty of variations here. Generally speaking, that right hip is going to be lifted up off the floor, and if you were to try and sit onto it, you're going to roll to the right. So my recommendation would be to kind of scrunch something up to support that hip. If that does not feel good on the knees, you come to the right hip and you just slide the feet into 90-degree angles. Same stretch, okay? The upper body, no matter where you are with the legs, is going to drape down over that right shin. And where you should feel this is across the glute. It's actually in the piriformis, which is a muscle underneath the actual glute muscles. And by opening this, it helps release the low back as well. Wherever you are in the pose, whether extended left leg or bent left leg, you're going to walk your arms, to the left side of the room, which will begin to incorporate the stretch into your low back on the right. Slowly walk your hands back. Press into your palms. If the left leg is not already extended behind you, take it there. We're going to slide the right leg out and then come down into a little half frog leg. So the inner knee is on the floor and you're going to walk down with the forearms. So you have this 90-degree bend at the knee, a 90-degree bend at the hip, and a 90-degree bend at your ankle. Think about pushing the front of the hip down into the floor as the knee slides out. Feeling the inner thigh open up here. And let's walk those hands back. Slowly slide the right knee underneath the hip. And you can take little circles with the hip here. It just releases all that we just did. Step forward with your left foot. Take your hands to your knee and drop your hips forward and down. Take the hands down to the earth. We're going to start to walk that left foot across to the right side of the mat, finding what feels right in our body. Hips ideally square with either something propping, or if you can make it all the way to the floor, go for it. Modification here is to simply draw that right knee up and bent. Wherever you are, walk your hands over the left shin. And then begin to walk your hands to the upper right corner. Walking the hands back through center, plant into the palms, and unthread that left leg out to the side now into half frog as you lie down onto the belly in a prone position. You have the 90-degree bend at all joints, and you just start to press the front of that hip downward. Slowly walk your hands back. You'll bend both knees and just slide that left leg back as you circle it out. Let's come to a comfortable seat here. Taking the soles to touch. I'm going to just turn sideways to show you what happens in the low back here. A lot of times we tuck under when we're seated, so you're going to walk your sits bones back kind of one at a time. And then as you bring your shoulders up over your hips, you'll feel a little bit more comfortable in the low back. Let's take the hands to the shins and open up across the chest. Let the elbows drop down inside the knees and send the center of the chest as if it's reaching right between the balls of the feet. Slowly releasing here. Take the legs wide like the letter V. And again, when we do this, the tailbone might tuck under. One hand behind, one hand in front. You're gonna lift and shift back a little bit. That will slide the tailbone out from under. Press out through your heels, flex the toes back. With your fingertips tented in front of you, broaden your chest and send a little bit of weight forward. Now that might be plenty. You don't wanna, snap like a glow stick. So you just take it as it comes and use your breath. Use every exhale to simply soften and just find where your sticking point is. So wherever that might be, we're here for 5 full breaths. And we slowly begin to stack those shoulders over the hips again. Sending the right leg in. We're going to take the left leg and step it either over the knee or in front of the shin, whatever's good in your body tonight. Let the left hand come behind you. Try and walk the right heel out from under your hip. That way you can sit down without sitting on the knee or the ankle. Wrap the right arm around and begin to take a twist. You'll feel it across the outer hip on the left side and across your low back. Slowly come back through center. Switch the cross of the legs. So the left leg comes down, the right foot either comes in front of the shin or across the knee. Making sure you create space for the right hip to drop to the earth. Find your twist. Right hand behind, left arm around, and bring out. And we'll slowly come back through center. So we're finding our way now to the peak pose, and I'm going to give you 2 options. So you can take frog or you can take happy baby. If you take frog, ideally you want to be sideways on your mat because the inner knees need some padding. So we took half frog, right? This way. Full frog is exactly what it sounds like. Frog legs. And the easiest way in is you find where you feel is your edge, and then you kind of slide the hips forward, and then you slide them back, and the knees will open more, and then you settle in. Okay, if that is not comfortable for you or the inner knees just cannot handle the pressure, happy baby is either one leg, your knee comes down outside of your rib cage with ankle and knee stacked, or both legs. The trick will be not lifting the tailbone up, pressing that tailbone down. Knees outside of the ribs, pull down through the inside arches of the feet, or perhaps from behind the knees. Again, whatever works in your body, but we are here for 5 breaths, knowing that the discomfort that is created on your mat can be worked through with 1 inhale and 1 exhale at a time. And we start to find that lesson off the mat as well as discomfort comes to us in life. And we just try and breathe through it. Now to come out of your happy baby pose, just draw your knees into your chest and find your way to a seat. But if you're in frog, I suggest you walk your hands back, propping up, and then just kind of slide one knee in and then the next. It's not the most comfortable thing to get in and out of, but boy, it makes a huge difference. You might be sore for a couple of days, but it's great for your hips. Finding our way to tabletop from wherever you were, just simply reset your spine with a cat-cow. And then slowly, we're going to sit to our heels. One more stretch for your low back before we come down for a supine series on our backs. You're going to take the hands behind you, coming into rabbit pose now. Tuck your chin. Roll down. Imagine that you're rolling a hose tightly. And you want to press your forehead towards your knees. You will feel the entire spine stretch, all the musculature around the spine. And then slowly and gently round up. We will come to seated, taking the soles of the feet to the earth with the knees bent. Hands will come to your shins. Lift up, open the chest as you breathe in. Round your spine as you breathe out. Last time, lift up and round your spine. From there, come to a neutral spine. Let the hands come behind you as you create space. Cross your right ankle up over your left knee. Coming into this seated figure four or seated pigeon. It's the same thing we took when we were lying down. And you're going to feel, again, that piriformis open up across the glute. Slowly release. Create space by walking back. Unwind. Windshield wiper your feet from side to side. And take your left ankle up over your right knee as you walk the chest up toward the shin and flex that left foot. Slowly create space. Feet both down, windshield wiper those knees from side to side. And finally, we will find our way down to the mat, taking both knees into your chest and rocking just a bit from side to side. Feeling that massage out your low back. Then begin to circle your knees 3 times in each direction. From here, release the left leg long. Keep your hands interlaced either in front of or behind your right knee. Because we've done so much to open up the inner thigh here, imagine you could come super wide with that thigh and imagine that knee wants to touch your inner upper shoulder, which it may not do tonight, but maybe someday. With your left hand connected to the knee, let your right arm reach out to the side. Cross over into a twist here. Should feel really nice on the low back. And then slowly draw through center. Kick your right foot up. If you have a strap or a belt of any kind, you can reach for the ball of the foot. And if not, just interlace behind your leg wherever feels comfortable. But try not to reach your shoulders up off the mat. Let them relax, even if that means the hands slide down. Pressing through the heel, flexing the toes. We have not done a lot of opening across the hamstring today, so this might feel a little extra tight. With your right hand on either your strap or your leg, let your left arm reach out to the side and open out. So this is a series that most of you have taken multiple times, but after doing this nice opening, this should feel a little bit deeper than normal. Slowly guide the leg back up through center again, either grabbing strap or leg itself, right hand out to the side. Tiny movement. Imagine, so you want your right hip still glued to the floor. All you're doing is creating a diagonal line from your hip to your big toe as you come over to the left a bit. Keeping that foot flexed, you'll feel the whole back of the leg and the outside of the hip. And then just as we did with the knee, with a straight leg, you are now going to come all the way across the body. So your legs are now like the letter L. And you should feel this not only in the low back, but deeply across the IT band in the outer leg. And gently rise through center. We're going to come for half happy baby, reaching either inside arch of the foot or behind the knee. Right knee comes down outside of the rib cage. You want to think about a space that's beside that rib cage on the mat, and you want to think about that knee trying to touch it. Again, it's not going to happen tonight, but just to think about. And then slowly relax that right leg next to the left leg. It should feel longer. So let's take the left knee in, interlacing in front of or behind the knee, keeping that thigh wide and trying to draw the knee toward the inner upper shoulder. With your right hand connected to your left leg, let the left arm come out and cross the knee over the body. So you're coming into this twist with a bent knee. Slowly back through center. Kick that leg right up, interlace behind the leg, or use your strap, pressing through your heel and flexing the toes back. With your left hand connected to the leg, you'll reach out with the right arm and reach the leg out to the left. Draw your big toe back as if it's reaching back behind the shoulder. Slowly coming up through center, connect the right hand to leg or strap. Tiny diagonal movement across to the right. Active foot. And then with a straight leg, come all the way across into the twist. Knowing that it's totally fine if that leg doesn't hit the floor. It may not hit the floor tonight. Or ever. Slowly rise up. You'll reach for either the back of the knee or the inside arch of the foot as you come into happy baby. And then release. Take the soles of the feet now to the earth with the knees bent. Just take a minute here. Hands will come right into the hip crease. So where the femur bone, the thigh bone, meets the hip socket, right? And you're simply going to push into that area. Now imagine that your hips could slightly lift up off of the floor and just feel that release as you press and then relax. Hands come by your side, right ankle crosses up over left knee. You can stay right here in your figure four, although we have done quite a few of these tonight, so if it feels good, reach through that little thread and interlace behind the left knee. If you would like to add hamstring stretch here, you can shoot that left heel up into the sky. Just try not to lift up off of the tailbone. Slowly relax the sole of the left foot down. Release your hands, keep the ankle crossed. Let the knees drop over to the right side of the room. Rise through center, keeping the leg crossed. Walk your left foot to the right and drop the sole of the right foot toward the earth on the left. The knee wants to close off here. Try and work it toward the ceiling. And then unwind both knees into the chest, circle here 3 times each direction before we switch sides. Right foot down, left ankle over right knee when you're ready. You can stay here or interlace behind the right leg. And again, maybe sending the hamstring stretch into the right leg by kicking the heel up. Slowly release. Let the hands relax, let the right foot relax. Keep the ankle crossed. Knees drop over to your left side. Draw through center. Walk that right foot to the left and let the sole of the left foot come toward the earth, keeping that knee toward the ceiling. You should feel a lot of inner thigh here on both sides, right where the hips and the femur bones meet. And slowly come back through center. Take both knees in. This time your hands will connect to the shins. As you breathe in, push the shins out into the hands. And as you breathe out, pull the knees back in. Breathe in, push out. Breathe out, pull in. Last time, breathe in, push out. Breathe out, pull in. Now as you breathe in, you're going to curl up into a tight ball, trying to touch the forehead to the knees. And then release all the way out into your Shavasana. Anything you need to prop the body here, perhaps something under the knees, perhaps something under the head. If you have an eye pillow, feel free to drape that. And then let the body surrender here. Take a minute to scan from head to toe. And notice where you feel differences in your body from the start of your practice. Feeling places that have opened and softened. Feeling places that perhaps could use even a bit more softening, and trying to send a little bit more release into those spaces. Particularly the shoulders, the jawline, the corners of the lips and the eyes, and the space between the brows. Allow the body to become heavy. With it being beach season, imagine that you are in the sand, leaving an impression of your whole body. And feeling perfectly supported in this surrender. If the mind begins to wander, imagine that your inhale is like a wave rising to the shoreline, and your exhale is like a wave receding back into the ocean. Your breath in rises and draws up. Your breath out releases and takes with it any sediment or sand, washing it back out into the depths of the ocean. So that each wave of breath that rises becomes clear and translucent. And each breath that releases takes with it anything that no longer serves you and washes it away. Allowing that imagery to wash over you with every breath until the mind simply becomes still. Slowly begin to bring your attention back to your physical body. Taking your time to find deep breaths. Taking your time to find gentle movements. Stretching in any way that feels comfortable. And then gently drawing your knees in toward your chest, finding your way off to your right or left side, and rising up to a comfortable seat. Allowing the eyes to remain closed. And taking a moment to scan and notice changes you might feel physically or energetically. And I'll share with you, again, I love this book. I've been using it quite a bit lately, From Journey to the Heart, Melanie Beatty. Each of us has a story to tell and our own way of sharing it with the world. It comes out through our words, through our work, and through the simple actions of our daily life. Listen to the stories of the people around you. Listen with your soul. Learn to value without judging, and listen with an open heart to the beauty of each story and the importance of the storyteller. Learn to value and appreciate the story you are living now. Awaken to the storyteller and share your story with the world. Tell it with joy and flair, committing to telling it with love and passion. Tell it through living your life fully, doing your work well, and creating the best life you can. Be who you are and love being that. We live our lives from our hearts. If we share from our hearts, our story will touch and heal people's souls. So reflecting on the story that we each have to tell, and imagining the arms rising up, gathering our story, and taking it down into the center of our heart space as the hands rest at center chest. Sealing the practice with a single round of Om as we send that story out with breath, inhaling. Surrendering the head to the heart as you swallow in the back of your throat. Raising your thumb knuckles to center forehead. All that is light and love and passionate storytelling in me honors and shines to all that is light and love and passionate storytelling in each of you. Thank you as always for coming to your mat. Namaste.